Welcome to the Escape and Empower podcast. Escape from the corporate rat race to empowered franchise ownership. Are you ready to take control of your destiny, follow your dreams, and live life on your own terms? Join our hosts, Dave and Pete, for insights on how to break free from the corporate grind, ditch the 9-to-5, and step into empowered franchise ownership.
Good morning. My name is Dave Greenberg, and welcome to the Escape and Empower podcast. I am here with my co-host, Pete Gilfillan.
Good morning, Dave. I am super excited today because I think we should unpack some good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about this idea of taking control of your destiny and building a life that you really want, not somebody else's life. You build a life that you want.
I love it because it's true and authentic to our own story, and it's what we help people do every day. The interesting thing, Pete, is when you dive into the entrepreneur lifestyle and you think about ditching the 9-to-5 to run your own show, yeah, we did it. We both had 20 plus years in the corporate world. Now we have 10, 20 years in the entrepreneurial world, and it is a total different lifestyle.
You got that right, because it's freedom, it's flexibility, it's a shot at real money, right? And we're going to break it down today and talk a little bit about this entrepreneur life story and give you some of our truths.
It's about owning your life, Pete. That's what I found. I often say if I continued doing what I was doing when I made the transition at 51, I'd be dead 5 years ago. It was 50% travel. It was Sunday night scaries. It was 7 a.m. meetings, and it's hard life, and it creates a lot of sacrifice. And you helped me ditch that, and you helped me find the franchising path, which gave me a lot of luxury to kind of build my own thing, but use a proven business system to create that freedom and flexibility and financial independence that I now realize is a key part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, both of us escaped the corporate world. We've made that path to becoming entrepreneurs, and there's certainly a lifestyle associated with it. And a big part of that is crafting your own life, being in control. To me, that is the biggest thing, because I think about back in the corporate world, this idea of control. You had no control where you're going to live. You had no control of your hours. You had no control if you had to be in a meeting, that kind of stuff. And so control is a big thing, being in control or a captain of your own ship. And I know you experience that like I do.
The number one truth, and it's simple. It's called freedom, and maybe freedom of choice. But there's a lot of ways to talk about what I call the number one truth of being an entrepreneur. And when you think of it in this simple sense, it's hours. So as an entrepreneur, you find you have a 24/7 mindset. It's not a 9-to-5 mindset, but that 24/7 mindset is really empowering because you are in control. You have that authority. You don't have a boss. You don't have anyone to dictate agenda. Yeah, you got to deliver on customer experience. You got to hire the right people. You got to run the business. But that's you. And you can shift your hours. You can enjoy that freedom to really participate in family events. And that's really, a lot of the things that you enjoy as an entrepreneur. I talk about the second truth a lot, which is flexibility. And so freedom of choice to do what you want and run your own business, but having the flexibility to run a quality life. The quality life is something that, you had to squeeze into life in the corporate world. There are those super disciplined people, they run at 7 and somehow they work it out, but not everyone's like that. You have to take time away from yourself, and being an entrepreneur and being a business owner gave me that flexibility. One example is I kind of finish up on Fridays at 2:00 every week, and I go and wash my car and I get ready for my weekend. And on Mondays I don't really start until 1 unless I need to for some reason, but I do my errands on Mondays and I get to my office and settled into work by 1:00. Why is that nice? Because then the weekends are myself. Before, I was cramming everything into Saturday. Remember that? You got to go to dry cleaner. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then you got to enjoy church or whatever you're going to do on Sunday. But by around 3 o'clock, you're starting to think about the week. One thing about franchising that gave me that flexibility, we're all executors, and being able to run a playbook, which is a franchising system, and build a nice recurring predictable revenue stream in the business that we elected to invest in. That really gave me the confidence and comfort that I could, after we built the thing, become flexible in my schedule. And the last truth, Pete, that I like to talk about is financial independence. You often say, what's the definition of a W-2 job? Well, you're exchanging time for money. That's totally on target. I totally get that. So when you're investing in a business that you own, what are you doing? You're creating wealth. If you do it right, you're building an annuity that lasts 10, 20 years. And you have the potential for monetizing through an exit event if you decide to do that. So these three truths that I like to speak about, which drive an entrepreneurial lifestyle, is the freedom of choice, the flexibility to really drive your own calendar and invest in a quality of life and make sure you keep the business running. And then also create that financial independence where you're no longer reliant on exchanging time for money in the W-2 world, which is not secure, to having your own security of creating wealth. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Absolutely. I mean, I've lived it, and I'll share my truths, right? My truths is that, number one is that I like being an entrepreneur with that lifestyle because you can align your business with your passion, your energy. And I'll just give you my example. I love being an entrepreneur because I don't have to go to senseless meetings. I don't have a boss. I don't have artificial objectives. I don't have to deal with politics. I could put 100% of my energy and my passion into helping my candidates every day take back their lives, right? And that is, I like pinch myself. I can't believe I am so lucky to have the freedom to run my life where I don't have to worry about moving, getting told I'm going to live somewhere else, right? I moved my family every 20 months when I was in the corporate world. It was crazy. So I have freedom. I am in control of my destiny, right? And that's a big deal. And I think the other second truth is I control my time. I love having my schedule to what I want to do. That doesn't mean I'm working less. I still work as hard as I did in the corporate world, but it is on my terms. That means that if I want to go to my kid's soccer game, I can do that. If I want to go for a long weekend with my wife, I can do that. If I want to go boating on a Friday, I can do that. Doesn't mean I'm not working after I go, whatever I need to do, but I have the ability to control my time. I have that flexibility. You have your kind of Friday afternoons. I call it fast start Fridays. I also take part of Friday off. That's my time to run errands. Maybe that was kind of what we learned in our day, right? Is that we can have our schedules. And for me, it's like you washing cars. I guess we're both car guys. And I think the third truth for me is this idea of being an entrepreneur is about building wealth. And I didn't really realize this when I was in the corporate world. We get kind of caught up into the corporate handcuffs. And bottom line is wealth is created through being an entrepreneur. Look at the top people in the United States in terms of wealth. They are entrepreneurs. And so it's this idea that we want to make sure that we're reinvesting this idea of long-term wealth. And wealth can be money. Wealth can be good health. So I think a little bit about, I've invested now time into helping myself live a healthier lifestyle. And so this is really important. And that financial independence allows you to make decisions going forward. If I want to kind of, for lack of a better term, semi-retire, work a little less, I can, but it's on my terms. I'm not dependent on a corporate job or a corporate salary or anything else like that.
Pete, I love it because, we all have these truths and what we enjoy in an entrepreneurial lifestyle. And I think we've all recognized either through our own businesses or the businesses that have helped people find, some people want to work in it every day. If that's what you enjoy and that's what you're driven by, there's a path for that. That can be your entrepreneurial lifestyle. If you want to work on the business, take a manage the manager approach, build the team. If that's your skill set and that's what you want to do, there's a path for that also. So what I'm trying to say here is, we talked about our truths being, yeah, you can get the freedom, you can get the flexibility, you can drive for financial independence. You can align your passions with what you do every day. You can control your time to build that quality life. And again, you can really focus on the long-term wealth of reinvesting. The key here is it's you. You can make that decision. It's not the board, it's not the boss, it's not the stakeholders, it's not the performance review. You want to make more money? Work a little harder, grow another location, buy another truck, reinvest. You want to sustain it? You got to a point where you love it? Great. Get the team going so you can actually enjoy maybe 3 days off during the week. So that's the beauty of an entrepreneurial lifestyle, because it's all about you and what you want to do with your time. Because I've always thought that time is one thing you don't get back. And so it's important to think and reflect on what are you going to do with that time so you make the most out of it every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Time is our biggest asset. And everybody, when you get towards the end of your life, you go, did I really make a difference with my dash, right? The time that I was on Earth. And I like the idea of being a business owner because you can really make a difference and make an impact. And that's what I want to be known for, is the impact that I've made on this world. And being an entrepreneur, I think, makes it easier. I wasn't basically, I'm proud to be a corporate escapee for the reason that I was just not a number at a company. I was driving a business that helped others. Right. That's important.
Right. So you find people out there that are really thinking, okay, is this entrepreneurial lifestyle for me? The answer is yes. Pete and I made the turn. You can do it too. And we're happy to help you. Pete's book about hire yourself, control your own destiny is a great read. And if you don't want to just read it, link into him at hireyourself.com, book 15 minutes with him and talk about, the opportunities and explore the possibilities. Or you could do the same with me at empoweredfranchisee.com. I'm happy to do the same. But we do this every day. We've been doing it for a while. And there's a path, whichever one you choose, potentially, that we can help you live your own dreams and own your own business through franchise.
Well said. The bottom line is that the entrepreneur lifestyle is awesome, right? It doesn't mean it's not a lot of hard work, right? But the idea is you're in control.
Absolutely,
Dave, great
Pete.
Conversation.
All right, keep it going, Pete.
Thanks for tuning in to the Escape and Empower podcast. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to consider franchise ownership as a path to leading life on your own terms. Start your journey towards financial freedom and flexibility. Connect with Dave at empoweredfranchisee.com or Pete at hireyourself.com. Until next time.